Dear friends, this is episode number 76. We have not completed Rule 22. We have dealt with only the first part of Rule 22, where the respondent supports the decree of the trial court by even opposing the finding against him, but at the same time supporting that finding which is in his favor. We have seen that. Second part of it, and may also take any cross objection to the decree which he could have taken by way of appeal, provided he has filed such objection in the appellate court within 1 month from the date of service. And may also take cross objection to the decree which he could have taken by way of appeal. I will give an example. I filed a suit against you for realization of rupees 10 lakhs. You raised so many contentions. The trial court decreed 9 lakhs in my favor. A decree for 9 lakhs was granted in my favor. That means I lost 1 lakh. The decision in respect of 1 lakh, the suit is dismissed in respect of 1 lakh. You can file an appeal challenging that decree. You means the respondent can file an appeal challenging the decree of the trial court granting a decree for rupees 9 lakh. I, the plaintiff, can also challenge the decree by which the trial court dismissed my suit in respect of 1 lakh. So both parties are entitled to file appeals against the same decree. You are more aggrieved because 9 lakhs is decreed against you. Then I decided not to file the appeal. All right, this is enough. If I go to the appellate court, I will have to spend so many years, I have to spend money, I have to pay court fee, this and that, then there will be delay. I am satisfied with the 9 lakhs. I am not going to file an appeal. You also thought that the defendant has succeeded and he is correctly liable to pay 9 lakhs, no doubt about it. So that he may not go in appeal, or he was made to believe so also by some words expressed by him in public. So he did not challenge that finding by which his suit was dismissed for 1 lakh. But while so, he received a notice from the appellate court. What? Intimating that you have filed an appeal against that part of the decree which went against him. I received the notice. By that time, the time to file the appeal was over. What can I do? I can file a memorandum of cross objection challenging the decree against me in so far as rupees 1 lakh is concerned. Decree of dismissal. So I get 30 days time from that date of service, or such further time as extended by the court. But by that time my appeal is hopelessly barred by time. I received some notice from the appellate court very late. So suppose I file an appeal by that time, it is quite barred. And the appellate court is not likely to condone the delay. So, but I got a remedy. Same result will follow. You have filed an appeal challenging that part of the decree by which 9 lakhs was decreed against you. On receiving the notice within 30 days from that date, I can file a memorandum of cross objection challenging that part of the decree which was against me. It is not a finding but a decree. That is a difference. In the example which I have given earlier, it was only a finding whereas this is a decree. I can independently challenge that part of the decree by which my suit for 1 lakh was dismissed. I did not do, but still I have got an opportunity. If you file an appeal and I receive notice, I can file the memorandum of cross objection within 1 month or such extended period. I need not worry. Then, there the earlier step, supporting the decree, is not enough. Because how do you support the decree? You can support the decree only for 9 lakhs. You cannot support a decree for 10 lakhs because the trial court did not grant a decree for 10 lakhs, only 9 lakhs was decreed. So the supporting of the decree and at the same time opposing a finding does not arise here because both parties could have filed the appeal. Read again. And may also take any cross objection to the decree which he could have taken by way of appeal. Which he could have taken by way of appeal. This is the difference between the two. One is supporting the finding of the trial court, not only support but oppose the finding against the respondent. Here it is a case where both parties can file appeals. And one party does not file an appeal, he receives notice in the appeal filed by the other party within 30 days, he may challenge the finding, the decree which went against him. So that multiplicity of proceeding is not the aim of law. Suppose as I thought that I will forego 1 lakh, let there be peace. But it does not end there. 9 lakhs you have filed the appeal. So I have to fight anyway. Fight it. I can also fight for 1 lakh. But I cannot file an appeal because it is hopelessly time barred by the time I received the notice. I can file a memorandum of cross objection within 30 days from the date of service of notice. This is sum and substance of Rule 22. Now, there is an explanation which was added in 1976. I read the commentaries. I still have doubts. I am of the view that this explanation has really caused confusion. See the explanation. A respondent aggrieved by a finding of the court in a judgment on which the decree appealed against is based may, under this rule, file cross objection in respect to the decree in so far as it is based on that finding. Notwithstanding that by reason of the decision of the court on any other finding which is sufficient to the decision of the suit, the decree is wholly in part in favor of that respondent. Read again. Respondent aggrieved by a finding on which the decree appealed against is based. Slight difference. File cross objection in respect of the decree in so far as it is based on that finding. Notwithstanding that, by reason of the decision of the court on any other finding which is sufficient for the decision of the suit, the decree is wholly or in part in favor of that respondent. So there is a finding, and that finding forms part of the decree. The decree bases on that finding. But at the same time, you need not file an appeal. That finding is there, which is against you, on which the decree is based. You can file a cross objection after receipt of notice. in respect of the decree in so far as it is based on that finding. Notwithstanding that, by reason of the decision of the court on any other finding which is sufficient for the decision of the suit, the decree is wholly or in part in favor of the respondent. The decree is in your favor. Therefore, strictly speaking, you cannot file an appeal. But there is a finding on which the decree is based. That finding is against you. You can challenge the finding, that finding, in the appeal filed by me. I am the opposite side. And say that that finding should have been the other way about. Notwithstanding that by virtue of the court, by virtue of the decision on another finding, which is sufficient for the decision of the suit, the decree is in your favor. There are several findings, there may be several findings in a suit, several issues, several findings. Some are sufficient, each one of it is sufficient to dispose of the suit. There is no degree of importance. What is the ultimate result? That decides who has to file the appeal or who can file the appeal. But there are certain findings on the basis of which the decree is based, are against the respondent. The appellant has to file the appeal because the decision is against him. So he files an appeal. But there are certain findings there on which the decree is based, but because of the other findings which are in favor of the respondent, the suit was disposed of in favor of the respondent. He may take a cross objection. Therefore, there is no bar. That is the explanation in 1976, inserted by Act 104 of 1976. Then what is a form of objection? Such cross objection shall be in the form of a memorandum, and the provisions of Rule 1, so far as they relate to the form and contents of the memorandum of appeal, shall apply thereto. So it shall be just like a memorandum of appeal, the memorandum of cross objection also, just like that. Now, 4. Where in any case in which any respondent has under this rule filed a memorandum of objection, the original appeal is withdrawn or is dismissed for default, the objection so filed may nevertheless be heard and determined after such notice to the other parties as the court thinks fit. I gave the example of a suit for 10 lakhs. It was decreed in your favor it was decreed in my favor for 9 lakhs. I did not file any appeal. But you filed an appeal challenging that decree for 9 lakhs. Then I thought that I will challenge the dismissal of the suit against me for 1 lakh. I filed a memorandum of cross objection. I could have filed an appeal, but I did not file the appeal. I can file a memorandum of cross objection. Then you withdrew the appeal. You withdraw the appeal. What will happen to my cross objection for 1 lakh? That will remain. You may withdraw your appeal, no harm, that is up to you. But this cross objection, which has the effect of an appeal, will remain intact, and I can succeed in that memorandum of cross objection against you. Where in any case in which any respondent has under this rule filed a memorandum of cross objection, the original appeal is withdrawn or is dismissed for default, the objection may nevertheless be heard and determined after such notice to other parties, etc. The provisions relating to pauper appeals shall, insofar as they are applicable, apply to objections under this rule. Cross objection also, a person may be an indigent person. So I filed the suit for rupees 10 lakhs as an indigent person. I got a decree for 9 lakhs against you, and my suit was dismissed for 1 lakh. So, proportionate cost was ordered. That means you are liable to pay the court fee for 9 lakhs. I have to pay the court fee for 1 lakh. That will be the net result. I thought of not filing, but you filed an appeal. I can file a cross objection. And then, by that time, I became a pauper. I have no money to pay the court fee. I can file an application under Order 44, read with Order 33, to receive the cross objection as an indigent person. I need not pay the court fee. Right? This is the meaning of it. Now we'll see some of the decisions. Appeal, we saw, is a substantive right. Cross objection is like an appeal. Same thing. It has got all the trappings of an appeal. The form of filing the memorandum cross objection is just like the form as in an appeal under Order 41, Rule 1. Then, court fee payable is like that of appeal. Then, even where the appeal is withdrawn, we have seen the cross objection will survive. Please see some of the decisions. Some of the decisions. What is the scope of Rule 22? I have said there are so many, several decisions, several. I will cite 3 decisions, 3 or 5. First I will cite what is the 30 days starts. You file the appeal, 9 lakhs, you file the appeal. I am the respondent. I want to file a cross objection. The notice, there was a delay condonation in your appeal. So I was served with the notice, I engaged a counsel. Delay was condoned, it was only a few days. Then the appeal came up for admission, your appeal came up for admission. Appeal was admitted. Again, notice need not be sent to me. It is sufficient if a copy is given to my counsel, my advocate. It was given. 30 days starts from that date. Not the service of notice on me. I need not be separately served. Therefore, service of notice on the counsel is service of notice on the party. Therefore, there is a decision on that point. AIR 2011 Supreme Court 2439. Same as 2011 6 SCC 321. Mahadev Gond versus Special Land Acquisition Officer. 30 days starts from the taking notice by counsel and not from the receipt of notice of the party. Delay can be condoned in appropriate cases. That means it is not the, suppose the party has received, I am the respondent, I have received the notice on 1/1. I engaged a counsel on 10/1. 30 days does not start from 10/1 but 1/1. But in the appeal there was some proceeding in which I could, before admission, I could engage a counsel. I engaged a counsel in the matter of delay condonation petition. Delay was condoned, later your appeal was admitted, and on admission of the appeal, my counsel was given notice. Then notice was also sent to me. So my counsel was served with notice on 1st January. I received the notice on 30th January. 30 days is to commence from 1/1, the date on which my counsel was served with notice. That is service on me. So that is AER 2011 Supreme Court. There in that case a caveat was filed. Therefore the respondent's advocate was there before court. And when it was admitted, notice was served on him. So that is service. The time of 30 days for the purpose of filing the cross objection starts from that date. Yes. You may also see 2003 Supreme Court 1515. 2003 Supreme Court 1515. Even if the appeal is dismissed, cross objection has to be adjudicated. There is a decision on that. 2013 9 SEC 261 paragraph 18. Paragraph 18. Now we will see a decision. 2014 1 KHC Kerala High Court cases 817. Same as 2014 1 KLT 2014 1 KLT 1004. Division bench. Mangada Sushila MANGADA Mangada Sushila and others versus Thavarayil Balakrishnan and others THAVARAYIL Balakrishnan and others. It's a Kerala High Court division bench. I was also a party to that. I wrote the judgment. It was a rent control court. Rent control case. Bona fide need. 11.3 of the Kerala Buildings Lease and Rent Control Act. Then 11.3 that those who are not conversant with the Kerala Building Lease and Rent Control Act, I have to explain. 11.3 is a ground on which the petition for eviction can be allowed on the ground of bona fide need of the landlord for own occupation or for occupation of any member of his family. If the bona fide nature of the claim is found, the application will be allowed. In spite of the proof of bona fides of the claim, my petition under section 11.3 can be dismissed if the court finds that you, the tenant, was depending on for your livelihood on the income derived from the business conducted in the premises, and that there is no other sufficient building available in the locality. That is a second proviso in section 11.3. So in the case on hand, the rent control court dismissed the petition, finding that the landlord failed to establish bona fide need. So that landlord lost. But at the same time, the rent control court found that the tenant also failed to establish that he was depending for his livelihood, and therefore that condition is not satisfied. He is not entitled to the benefit of the proviso. One limb of the proviso. And therefore both one limb is non-satisfaction, one limb is enough. Therefore the net result is that the bona fide nature of my claim was not granted. But at the same time, for completeness of the findings, the rent control court also found that the tenant has not proved that he is entitled to the benefit of the second proviso to section 11.3. Appeal came, my appeal. Appeal by landlord. I will say appeal by landlord. That will be convenient. Appeal was filed by the landlord. And the appellate court is inclined to probably allow. Then the tenant can succeed even then, even if my appeal is allowed and my bona fide is found in my favor. If the tenant is able to establish that he is entitled to the benefit of the second proviso, still I will not get possession. I will not get an order of eviction. But that finding is against the tenant. Can he challenge that finding in the appellate court without filing a memorandum of cross objection was the question involved in that case. And it was held that it is not necessary to file a memorandum of cross objection and he can support the finding, and at the same time I will read a short paragraph from that in the next episode. Time is running out. Thank you.